is what we look for, that then is what we see in the world around us. And abundance is something that we have been led to believe is something that exists outside us, something that we must strive to achieve, that we must work towards. In my experiences, abundance is something which is developed within, internally. So it's having an abundant mindset, and it is coming back to that frequency of love. So what I'm going to share today is how to materialize our abundant reality through becoming the creator of our own reality. So the way that the subconscious mind works is it looks for what it expects to see. So when we are raised to believe that we are limited, or that we have to work and again strive to be able to enjoy an abundant mindset, an abundant way of living, and a material abundance, we then get caught in this loop, in this cycle of having to try to work towards and be worthy of then achieving that material abundance. Again, in my view, it is developed internally. So it is coming to a place of self-love, realizing that we are already good enough as we are, and that when we choose to focus on the positives in every situation is what we get to see. The subconscious mind, it is bombarded and can process about 11 million bits of data every second. The conscious mind can only process about 40 bits of data. So it's the subconscious mind and the way that it's programmed which then dictates our reality, or what we perceive to be our reality. Again, if we focus on the negatives, if we focus on the lack, if we focus on what is wrong with the world, then that is what we then experience. When we can sense it into a space of love, which is for me done through meditation. Meditation has been the greatest tool in my tool belt, as it were, to take me from a place where I used to, going back about 10 years, I was 18 stone of muscle and rage and anger, and I would bash my way through any obstacle that I came to. Very much the wounded masculine. But that's in my way, I'm going to attack it. There was no love externally because there was no love internally. And I wanted nothing more than to destroy because of that pain and that destruction that I had inside me, which again was something that I saw. It's what I saw my father do, it's the way he behaved, so I copied, I mimicked. The way again that the mind works is it absorbs information. We are like sponges, and when we energetically soak up the energy of people around us that are negative in their mindsets, that believe themselves to be victims to life, then that is what they then experience and what we then copy. And as a collective, we are moving more and more into an understanding that we do create our own realities and that we can make changes. We're not locked into what society has labeled us to be. So if we again label somebody as being negative, if we label ourselves as being limited, then the subconscious mind will actually find proof of this, it will highlight it, it will ignore the rest of the data, and it will continue to manifest that exact reality. So for me, it was going through a period in my life where I went into complete darkness. In complete darkness, I experienced a tremendous amount of depression, and I actually tried to end my own life. In that process, I let go of who it was that I thought that I was, the labels, the egoic label as father, as husband, etc., etc. And I realized that I was not just this body or even this mind, but the eternal soul which exists within and gets to experience this experience. Because what else are we here for other than to experience the experience? If we take it too seriously, again, I have to do this, I have to do that, carrying with us the weights of the past and the expectations of the future, and then we find ourselves locked to where we are, not able to reach our true heights, not able to jump to our true heights or run at our true speeds, is when we put down the pains of the past and the expectations of the future. And we turn the pains of the past into the catalyst for growth, into the fuel for change. So we use, to excuse my language, the shit of the past as fertilizer to grow our future potential and our desired manifestations within. We use that pain of the past, the shit, dig it into the garden of our mind, plant our seeds of intention within that fertilizer, growing them more big and more beautiful than we could have done without those pains. So it is going back to childhood events, realizing that previous pains and traumas have been the exact catalyst for growth to bring us to where we are today. I would not be on this quest to bring a conscious awareness to people and the fact that we do create our own reality and that we're far more powerful than we're led to believe if I hadn't have gone through complete pain and turmoil myself. It is those small little implements compounded over time which create change. So going back to the subconscious mind, when we are bombarded by so many bits of information, so much data, it's difficult to process and take what we believe to be true from what is factual and what is false. When we are shown in mainstream media that the way to be happy and successful is to have the nice car, the nice big house, all these material possessions, we are then again looking for our feeling of worth and happiness outside of ourselves. Everything we experience is experienced internally, and everything that we could ever desire or seek already exists within. The answers to every question already reside within us, and we will all know, each and every one of you here will know exactly what it is you need to know at the exact time you need to know it, in order to achieve with ease exactly what you are here to achieve, doing so easily and effortlessly, because it's all subconsciously programmed again. We don't know what we don't need to know until we need to know it. So let's not worry about the future, and let's give thanks to the past for every step that has brought us to where we are today. Because again, it is the trials and tribulations and overcoming these that remind us of how much potential to continue forwards with that same positive mindset, moving forwards and able to overcome any obstacle. If we look at nature and reflect ourselves to nature, the path of least resistance that a river takes will always take it back to its final destination, back to the ocean. In life, we are all on the same journey. We all know the final destination. It's death, to put it quite bluntly. We're all going to that place, but it's the biggest fear that we all have. We are all scared of death because it is the fear of the unknown. So when we can set it into a factual viewpoint, again, theoretically, everything in existence is energy. It's all made of the same base material. It's energy vibrating at different frequencies. What we vibrate in accordance to ourselves is what we attract from the universe around us. So if we were to look at it quite simply as a TV, and a TV screen, every potential channel is in the airways around that screen at all times, able to be picked up and broadcast. It depends on what channel we tune that telly into. The good thing here is that we hold the remote control. Yes, again, we have been convinced otherwise by society, by our peers, etc., that we are limited to a particular channel. That if we are born into a particular sect or religion or viewpoint, then that's where we are. And most often, people that are born into extreme wealth, doesn't matter what they do or what decisions they make or how idiotic they can be most of the time, they will always be wealthy because it is part of their reality. And there is nothing alternative that they will experience. It's just locked in, it's factual to them. So the more that we can continue to move back into that knowing that everything happens for us, never to us, that we are the creators of our own reality, and that what we look for is what we see, it gives us the opportunity, again, to come back to gratitude for what we have, to look at areas in our life where we are abundant. Each and every one of us has abundance already. Abundance of friendships, abundance of love, some abundance of material. But again, the more that we focus on the lack, the more that we actually call this in and experience it. Going back to my own experiences in the past, my channel used to be anger and rage. Rage was the fuel that kept me going. And again, the more that I looked at it, the more it was all I could see, until there was nothing left in my reality other than anger and rage. and I focused on the 2 small weeds in the garden of my mind with my light of attention, as though my light of attention, just as each and every one of yours, is like the sun. What we shine our light of attention upon grows. Again, focus on the positives, we grow them. Focus on the negatives, we grow them. The good thing here is that there is always going to be flowers and weeds. There's always going to be light and dark, positive, negative, love and the separation of it. When we focus on the flowers, we grow them. When we focus on the weeds, actually we grow them. And unless we work at a very deep level to go back to previous traumatic events to discover the root cause of the defense mechanism that was put in place by the subconscious mind, unless we remove that weed from the root, it will grow back, and then it will actually undermine our ability or belief that we can remove those weeds. So, to start with, we focus on the flowers to the exclusion of the weeds, knowing that there's always going to be weeds in life. The winds of life will always blow weeds into the garden. Focus on the flowers and we grow those. And again, that is done through gratitude. A gratitude for what we've experienced previously, a gratitude for who we are, and a gratitude for the adventure that exists before us. Knowing that when we hold within our mind a seed of intention, a thought, that creates a pathway, an energetic pathway before us that then, in my view, if we can actually skip down, I go skipping in the mornings now. The difference in me since entering into this abundant mindset, from being locked in, very rigid, very Iron Man, to playful, joyful, excitable. It's excitement which is the fuel for change. It is the catalyst which creates that forward momentum. And interestingly, excitement and anxiety are actually the exact same biological response within the body. It's the mind that has decided that one future potential is positive and I'm excited for it, and one future potential is negative and I'm fearful of it. And it's that fear which actually stops us in our tracks, and it prevents that abundant mindset and manifestational ability moving forwards. Coming back to love, as you so beautifully put at the start, Lorraine, love, it is the fuel. It is the fuel that continues forwards that abundant mindset and that ability to manifest abundance. Love is the air that we breathe, and it is the glue that binds us, in my view. And if we think about the air we breathe for a moment, no matter where we are around the planet, no matter how we are feeling, we are all breathing that same air. And when we spend time around other people that have abundant mindsets and are being propelled forward through excitement and through positivity, that is the same sort of energy and essence that we then embody. We are like sponges. So it's incredibly important to be mindful of the information that we bring in, because the information, whether it is through food and water, the sustenance we take in, or the information, it's that energy, that information, which becomes part of our being, part of our psyche. And again, what is programmed into the subconscious mind, what we believe, is what we see. We hold the remote control. We are that screen of information. And in my view, the law of attraction, as above, so below, as within, so without, there is only one screen of information. We view the external world from inside. The external world views from outside us as though they are looking at the screen externally. When we tune in to love, that is what we see. When we tune into anger, that is what we see. Again, when I was angry and hostile and would walk around like this, literally like this, everywhere I went, somebody wanted to fight me and there was trouble, and everyone would walk into me all the time. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm fucking massive. Get out of my way. That was me. That was the law of attraction calling in hostile experiences so that I could be angry. I had a reason to be angry. So that's my manifestation. Again, my experience, I had to go into complete darkness to give up my view of who I was, to then see the direction the light was coming from, and then take this journey towards that light. that light existed at the center of myself. And after working my way through this maze, I found where the light was coming from. I opened the door, and it was my heart. It was love. I fell in love with myself. I fell in love with life. And as an interesting sort of side note, if you're all to think of somebody in your life that you love, if you bring them to mind, and then you feel into that frequency of love, that emotion of love, it is being felt within you, by you, because it's your love that you feel, not theirs. We can never feel somebody else's love. We can only ever feel our own. When we think of somebody we love, we feel that love. So no matter where that person is, no matter if they are still here on this earthly plane or if they've passed on, when we think of somebody with love, we feel that love. We feel that love for them. We bring them back to life. We reanimate that emotion, that energy. So no matter where we are or how we feel, again, taking a single breath in, when we are cognitively, consciously connected to other people on the same mission of awareness and self-development, of becoming the best versions of ourselves that we can be, it reconnects us back to that frequency, back to that feeling. And hugging ourselves as though we're hugging a loved one. If you all put your hands, your arms around yourself and give yourself a hug.
Oxytocin.
Does something special. For me, it blows away the cobwebs, it removes the clouds. And that is this journey, from going from a place of disbelief, almost as though we're living in some sort of a foggy maze, not quite sure where to go or what to do, not quite sure what direction the light's coming from. It's when we quieten the mind, the busy monkey mind, and we tune back in to our internal knowing. Through meditation, the fog dissipates. The snow globe that is constantly shook up, which is the mind that becomes anxious, that we're not able to see the imageries or the reflection upon the surface of the water, if we like. When we allow for the snow globe to settle, we get to see the beauty of the image within, which is the image that we can then bring into manifestation. So abundance really is a mindset. It is not something which is experienced externally. Yes, if we have lots of material possessions outside of ourselves, it allows for a belief that we are abundant to be experienced. My voice isn't very abundant today. For some reason, my voice has decided to disappear. But at the same time, it doesn't matter, because I have attached no mind to it. Everything that we experience as physical matter is experienced because of our conscious ability to perceive it. Everything in existence, again, is energy vibrating. And the observer theory dictates that everything exists as a particle and as a wave at the same time. And it's only when the observer, when consciousness actually perceives a wave, that it then turns into physical matter and is presented in the way that actually the observer expects it to be seen. So again, if we go into a situation and we believe ourselves limited, or we believe that somebody is going to be negative or difficult, we have already created that reality for ourselves before we've even stepped into it. It is looking for the best in ourselves and in everything else, which then allows us the opportunity to see that. And it's believing in something that is greater than ourselves, that takes away the feeling of severity and that we are on our own in this journey. It is collectively connecting to a knowing that as a species, we are on a journey of evolution. And it's a conscious evolution that we're experiencing. We're no longer striving to be the alpha male that he's losing his place in this world. We don't need that sort of mindset anymore. Masculine and feminine are starting to unite more and more in the way of thinking and believing. And again, to me, it is the feminine, free-flowing, joyful, abundant energy that brings forth the ability to manifest. The way I was shown this in meditation, in each and every one of us, we have masculine and feminine energies. The masculine, if we looked at it again, related to nature, we are a river. We're likened to a river. The masculine creates the structure, the boundaries. The masculine is the riverbeds and the banks. He creates the form, the direction, the safety, the parameters, the boundaries. It is the water which is the feminine. It is the flow, it is the movement, it is the life, it is the joy. And interestingly, and this is something which a lot of men find difficult to accept, it is the water which creates the momentum and the choice of direction. It is the feminine aspect and energy within each and every one of us, our intuition, our joy, our love, that chooses which direction that we flow in. When we try to be too masculine and too direct, we end up as like a dry crack in the ground. There's no life there, there is no joy. If we are too feminine in nature, it's like the water raining on the plain and it just soaks up. It has no direction, it has no real purpose. So it's finding that balance between the two and then allowing again for our intuition, for our joy to direct our motion moving forwards. And that is abundance in nature. It's knowing that wherever we are, whatever we're experiencing, we're exactly where we're meant to be at the exact right time, because otherwise why would we be? And it's the realization that everything is perfect. Again, where it wouldn't be. The universe exists in absolute chaos. The universe is chaotic. And somehow we have all found that calm at the center of the storm. We are the calm at the center of life's storm. And at the center of ourselves, again, is love. It is love that enters us into that calm. It is love which disperses the clouds of confusion, of chaos, of separation. When we come back into a frequency and a state of love, there is no problems. It is perfect as it is. So, if the universe exists in a mathematical balance of perfection, then so too do we. So each and every one of you here is perfect just as you are. I'm not saying that, okay, we're here, this is done, let's just leave it as it is. We can always strive to become a different version of perfection if we choose to. There's realizing and fully accepting that I am who I am and where I am, and then that gives me a start point to move forwards from. And in my journey, it has been using those pains of the past as the fuel for change, and accepting the good, the bad, and the ugly parts of myself. And that was the hardest part, accepting those bad, ugly parts of myself, accepting that I am my father's son, basically, and wanting nothing to do with that man, and actually realizing that I am my father's son. So then I could become more than. Because if I deny who I am, then I'm denying reality. And then nobody wins. We all miss out if we're not actually giving ourselves fully as the version that we are. Because each and every one of us, coming back to the energetics, is a different frequency of being. If we related it to colours, each one of us is a different colour within the rainbow of life. And if you're here to be blue, and you try and be red, then you end up purple. We don't need another purple, somebody else is already purple. And then the universe misses out. We all miss out unless you be you and your unique frequency of being. That is what brings creation to completion. It is when each and every one of us acknowledges that we are beautiful in our own right. And that's something that about 2 months ago, with a lot of mirror work, a lot of self-connection, I actually started calling myself beautiful. And again, the honest to God or universe, whoever, for me, 10 years ago, to believe that I would be working with men, looking at other men in the eyes and telling them that I love them. What are you on? Get away from me. And now I do this and I tell myself I love you. And I look at myself in the mirror. And beautiful, when we break the word beautiful down, be you to the full. Be you to the full is what it means to be beautiful. To live authentically, wildly, and freely. And that is what it means to be abundant. When we again embody that frequency of abundance, the universe has no alternative, just as that channel of information on the TV screen, to bring forth exactly what it is that we are vibrating in accordance to. So it all starts in the mind. So I'd love for you all to take a moment to close your eyes. and to take a breath, accepting that beautiful pranic life force energy as you breathe in through your nose into your belly. Pausing for a moment or two, and then releasing along with letting go of whatever is no longer serving. Taking a second mindful breath into your belly, and then a short second breath up to your heart center. And releasing with a physical sigh, if you like. Third and final breath into the belly, up to the heart, and then up to the third eye. And then releasing with that sigh. Beautiful way to center back into the present moment, back into yourself. And then from that reset point, then deciding what version of reality that we would like to experience. There's always going to be two sides to the coin. There's always going to be a negative and a positive. There's always going to be light and dark. But the beautiful thing here is we don't have to go from anger or hatred straight to love. We don't have to go from darkness to light. It's realizing that actually in truth, there's just an infinite number of shades of grey. And that we just have to go from a darker grey to a slightly lighter grey, to a slightly lighter grey, to a slightly lighter grey. And that takes away, again, the severity of thinking, I'm in a place where I'm limited, I'm in a place where I'm lacking, there is no abundance in my life anywhere to be seen. And going, actually, I'm abundant there. Let's focus on that. And let's use that as a foundation, a spring point to move forwards from, to where it is that I wish to go. Thank you all.